Before there were cigarettes, before there were brands, there was the leaf. Tobacco is one of the oldest forms of spirit communication known to humanity. Long before modern times, it was understood as a living messenger, a way for human intention to travel beyond the visible world and return with meaning. In the oldest traditions, tobacco was never a habit. It was a bridge, not something used to escape life, but something used to speak with it. Our ancestors knew breath as spirit itself, and smoke was breath-given form. When the leaf touched fire, it awakened. When guided by breath, it carried thought into the unseen. In that moment, intention became vapor, and prayer learned how to rise. It was never about getting high. It was about clarity, connection, making the invisible visible. That's the memory the leaf still carries. Radio Cigars.
Radio Cigar. Radio Cigar. Radio Cigar. Radio Cigar. Cigar. Radio Cigar. Radio Cigar.
All right. Shout out to everybody on this early show. Yeah, somebody said that ad smoother than jazz. Yeah, smooth, ain't it? Smooth. It's smooth. Listen, I got a good show for y'all today. Early show. Shout out to everybody who was able to make it. I got none other than Dr. B, Sirius, and Billy Carson. What is going on, gentlemen?
Oh man, good to be here. It's good to be here. Shout out to everybody in the live chat, and Dr. B, you, Brother Rich, thanks for having me on tonight.
Yes. It's an honor to be here.
Yes. We got a lot going on in the world today. We've been talking to the people who've been on YouTube for years now and giving information. I've heard Billy talked about certain things and it's come to fruition. I've heard him say things that people thought he was crazy, and then all of a sudden, it comes true. Man, you know what? To start out with, I want to ask y'all, what is the difference? And I'm gonna go to 2020. I remember me and Billy had this. I remember 2020. One thing that stood out, me and Billy was gonna meet the family in Brooklyn, and we had this imagination workshop, and we had to cancel it because of the pandemic and everything got shut down, and we moved it online. But that kind of that's one of the things that stood out about 2020. A lot of other things, of course. That's when the pandemic started. But I want to ask y'all, doing this for so many years, studying it, learning, it's a journey to know thyself, a lifelong journey. What's the difference between 2020 Billy Carson, 2020 Dr. B Sirius, and 2026 Dr. B Sirius, and 2026 Billy Carson?
Wow. There's a lot of transformation there. If someone, there's a lot of people who claim to be gurus out there, and they'll tell you that, they've achieved this and they've achieved that, and they don't have any flaws. Like, I've overcome all of my trauma, and I've, gotten rid of all these things, and I've done all the shadow work, and I'm this expert in this and that. And it's not that way, because growth is a lifelong process. And the more you grow, the more you find to evolve within yourself. So there's no way that you can say, I've made it, like have this epiphany, like I've made it, I'm my ultimate self. You can always become a better version of yourself, but there's always more room for growth, which is why they call it, becoming an ascended master. You have just continue to ascend and ascend. And I think once you even shed this mortal coil, there's even more ascension that happens even in higher dimensions. There's so much learning. I mean, even as human beings here on this planet, just from basic standard knowledge, we know less than 0.1% of all there is to know just about the oceans and the body and the earth. So we're learning so much as we grow. Now, when you turn around and go to inner space, and now you're tackling that inner knowledge of self, Yes, you may thrive in other areas within that level of knowledge that other people may have not reached yet, but then they may be thriving in other areas of their lives where you haven't reached yet. And so I think we have to always look at it as if every individual person is a piece of a puzzle, and that collectively we all make this beautiful mosaic. Like we come together and we paint this beautiful picture. Only if we allow ourselves to learn from one another, right? So I see things that you do, Brother Rich, and things that Dr. B does that are great, that from my perspective, I'm not that great at. So without y'all even knowing it, you all become my mentors in those particular areas. I'll ask questions, I observe, I watch, and I just take in the knowledge and the information. And then whatever I can see that I can apply to my life, I just apply it, right? So inadvertently, both of y'all have become my mentor, right? And so it's this process of continuous growth and continuous learning. And if you embrace it instead of shunning it, then you can really see and reap the benefits of it. So I look back at myself from 2026, I look back to 2020, and I can see that I have grown many layers since then in all different areas of my life. And in some areas I didn't do so well, in some areas I accelerated, right? And so I'm learning and understanding that there's 101 ways to enlightenment, and we're all on slightly different journeys, slightly different paths, and just embrace it and trust the process, work with it, and just continue to work on yourself and keep growing, because growth is inevitable if you allow it to be.
It's interesting to go back to 2020 and look where we are now. And it's just personally, the many challenges that, I never saw coming. I never saw certain events unfold. Ever since the pandemic, right? The whole society changed. So we were forced to change too. We were forced to change the way we talk, the way we walk, the way we move. And what I realized is that we have been talking about ascending for a long time. This has been this thing, the ascent. We got to ascend. What I found out is that there is also everything has its polar opposite. So it's also important to descend. What do we mean? Descend? I want to descend. You have to go down into yourself, where your ancestors are, where your guides are, down into your DNA, down into your core, and down into your mitochondria. So while you're going up and ascending, that's the conscious thing. That's the ego. We're going up, we're ascending, we're getting better, we're raising our energy. But at the same time, we have to also be lowering our energy, letting go of some of the ego and some of the me, and get into we, and then tap into that part of us, that core that's connected directly to the Akasha. See, the Akashic energies and the soul, it's always there and it's perfect. And it's a river that flows no matter what. It has nothing to do with what we're going through. That is our life force. So what I have learned is to go with the flow, and instead of ascending so much, also do some descending deep into self and look at ourselves, because our subconscious minds can't perceive and conceive of anything outside of self. So whatever you think is happening out there is happening in there. And the real place, the inner space, that is the place that we must conquer. And that's what's been really on my mind and really on my plate for the last few years.
Excellent. What do y'all think? Because I know y'all got an event coming up and I want to let the people know about it. What do y'all think? But real quick, what do y'all think about if Vicky Dillard calls them the love and light predators? So you got Deepak Chopra allegedly on the Epstein list, and just, we see this happen so often in the field that y'all are in terms of being a teacher or being a guru or being somebody who's spiritually enlightened. we've seen so many people take advantage of that title and do absolutely horrendous things with it.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody's seen Deepak Chopra and you know, they will say, oh my God, that man is so enlightened. He's this, he's that, he's this. But all of us claim to be so intuitive, but nobody can see through the energy. It almost, it seems as if. So what's your thoughts on these people who are so, who were supposed, even I remember a couple of years ago, the what's the guy name who he stuck his tongue out and he told the kid to suck his tongue?
Dalai Lama.
Dalai Lama. I mean, freaks.
Crazy.
Big time freaks.
Mm-hmm.
Disguised as spiritual leaders.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts, man, on calm down,
Yeah.
calm down. Just go. I'll get you. Just go. What is your thoughts on having access to all this information, being able to recite it, being able to interpret it, being able to teach it? Now, Deepak, he be saying some sharp shit sometimes. If you listen, he got a lot to say about this reality, but in the email, he's saying God is a matrix, beautiful girls are real. You know what I'm saying? So what happens when somebody gains access to all of this sacred, magnificent information and decides to go dark? Not dark in a good way, but dark in a bad way. What happens there, Billy and Dr. B?
Yeah, so we live in a universe that has this force, this vibration, this energy, and this energy can be wielded for good or it can be wielded for evil. It's the same force that's talked about esoterically in the movie series Star Wars. The Jedi use the force for good, but the Empire uses that same exact force for evil and domination. And unfortunately, in spiritual communities and teaching communities and enlightenment communities and religious communities, the people that have that darkness in them, that have that darkness that can't be quenched, they look for those particular communities because they know that the people in those communities, it's not that they're gullible, but they're so kind-hearted, so loving, so willing to serve and to be a part of a community, so willing to be appeasing and be a part of something and look up to quote unquote leadership and to be taught and led, that they fall victim and prey. And these people are predators, and predators know how to seek prey. If you ever watch the National Geographic specials, you'll see that when the cheetahs or the lions go out to hunt, they understand how to hide. They understand how to cloak themselves in the grass and the brush. They know how to go where the wind is downwind, not upwind, so that the prey can't smell them on their approach. They know how to do this stealth mode. And these prey who are so well gifted in their sensory perception, they're well gifted in their eyes and how far they can see, and the angles and perception that they can see with the eyes on the side of the head to look for predators. I mean, and their sense of smell is immaculate, and their speed and everything else is so incredibly graceful. But still, every single day, some of them get slaughtered by the stealthy predators. And these people that prey upon these innocent people are no different. They are stealthy predators that understand the technique and the moves and how to play in the matrix, and how to cloak themselves, how to gain that wisdom and gain that knowledge and regurgitate it like an expert and lure people in with a reel and some bait, and then they reel them right in. And so this has been the MO for thousands and thousands of years. These same techniques can be read about in the Bible. They can be read about in even further ancient texts. People are being abused. People are having these, I don't want to say the words on YouTube because, you know, YouTube get kind of picky when you say the words, but they have these assaults. And it's been going on for millennia. And these people are just the newest version of those same exact people that have been defiling the human race for a very long time. They're really dark people. We're warned about these people in the Emerald Tablets. Those says, beware of the dark brothers. You know, they understand how to cloak themselves. They understand they know how to hide behind the scenes, in the shadows, behind the veil, and wreak destruction and damnation on mankind. And that's exactly what we see. That's an unfortunate thing. We have to become more awake and aware. And we unfortunately can't be as trusting, the people can't be as trusting as they used to with some of these leaders, because you just don't know which ones have an alternative motive behind the scenes. As we found out with these Epstein files, there are a lot of dark people out there cooking and eating and everything else you could think of. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doc, you know Deepak personally, don't you? Don't you?
No,
Oh,
I haven't met him. I ran against him at the Conscious Awards, I think.
Okay.
We were in the same category.
Right.
But I haven't met him. If we look closely at anyone, whether it's me, any of us, you're going to find some of what you call disagreeable energy.
Mm-hmm.
You look at our past, you're going to say, oh, what? Dr. B, he was hanging out with who and he was doing what, and he used to be on, people will come up with what you used to do.
Mm-hmm.
The question is who are you now? And if you have worked on refinement, that means that you have been at a place where you weren't refined. You went through a certain alchemy. And a lot of us know about certain disagreeable things because we were in it. We were there. Sometimes you have to go to hell to find heaven or create heaven. I'm saying that we all have some stuff that's not perfect. You want to go dig on Dr. B. Somebody told me the other day, Dr. B, we found out your real name and that you was in the music business. And they say that you was a hardcore music gangster. And that's what they say, but that may not be totally factual. I say we have to learn editing. So musically in the studio, people hire me sometimes to come and edit their project. And you cut out the parts that you need and you move away the parts that you don't need. If somebody has a message that has a powerful draw, it has information that can help change your life, they could be crazy. But if you're able to take the edit and use the edit to change your life, then we don't look at the leader. We don't look at the teacher. We're not looking at the prophet. One of the things that we have to also look at is this is the time where we can't just follow blindly these leaders. Even if you're talking about me, people want to follow me. I'm like, listen, I'm not looking for followers. We have to be tapping into the part of ourselves, the divine part of ourselves that is able to edit and look at some of the trash that's happening in the world. And what is the message? Because you can't have good without bad. You can't have up without down. Everything is connected to its opposite. So we're all doing an editing process, even within ourselves personally. There may have been some things that I have said in the past that may have hurt some feelings. Some people are still upset about it. People say, well, Dr. B, you make fun and a mockery of spirituality. I mean, what, we're supposed to be just serious and mean all the time? We can't laugh. But some people are angry at us because of how we move. So we're not going to be able to make everybody happy. And the concept of what's good and what's bad and what's evil, it kind of is based on our perception. If there is something good that you can get out of trash, then get it. Even like some of the herbs and medicines that I use, some of them are toxic. What do you mean? Yes, some of the best herbal medicines in certain doses are toxic. It's about measurement. Medicine means measurement. So it's about measuring who you are. And it's not about who they are. The question is who are you? Look into ourselves even deeper, especially in this 2026 time, the fire horse. I mean, we got to ride this time, and we can't let the ideas and the mass distractions pop up and get us off our course, because everything is connected to everything else. So we have to do some great editing, no matter who they are. And, it's all based on perception management.
I like that. Perception management. I like that. Actually, I like that a lot. Definitely. To tell the people about y'all got an event coming up. So let's talk about that real quick. And I want to get to some questions a little earlier tonight from the family. So I seen some of y'all started queuing them up in the chat. But give me some questions in the chat for Billy and Dr. B. We're in this time where I know a lot of people are wondering a lot of things, but let the family know about what y'all got coming up.
Yeah. Well, we have Unlock Your Divinity Codes coming up live in Atlanta, Georgia on March the 1st. And it's going to be an amazing event. It's coming up March the 1st in Atlanta, a beautiful venue that Dr. B had already used and can vouch for. It's a beautiful brand new venue. It's not a massive space. We really want to be able to have more of a personal type session where we're getting really in and close with the people, and we're having you do specific types of exercises and movements, including my own teachings. Some of you have never gone through my hypnotherapy sessions. Dr. B was at the Carson Center and with me in my event in Carson, California, at the end of last year, and the whole place was completely moved through the hypnotherapy session. So these are the kind of things that we can do when we have a group like that we can really, to communicate these particular types of techniques and exercises and teachings with more of on a personal basis. And so it's going to be at the in Atlanta at March the 1st at 9:30 a.m. to 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Dr. B might stay a little bit longer. At the end of that session, that's ended at 6 hours, I'm literally going to fly straight to Australia to go to work again. But this is going to be an amazing event. This is an event, if people saw God Power 1 and God Power 2, this is like, in my opinion, is like, how do you integrate all this knowledge, and how do you tap into the body? How do you tap into the blueprint? But I'm really excited about some of the techniques that I've never shared until just recently. Dr. B was there just recently, and then Dr. B has some incredible teachings he's going to be doing as well, and his instruments, which we'll talk about as well. It's going to be amazing.
See, we talk about a lot of concepts that are like, they're very intelligent concepts, and they're theories that are deep. But once we take it into the body, once it becomes kinetic, once it becomes a feeling and a movement, now we're tapping into the root of everything, because the body this is the ship that we use. This is our personal motherships, that we use. And there are certain exercises that come from, the ancient world. Some of them are coming through for the first time. Some of them are from, Chinese medicine. There's meridians. There's all of these energies and entities and parts of us that are connected to the body. So we're going to be doing some exercises. And, I am a, psychological kinesiologist, and we do enhancements of the way your brain operates. So there are movements, sacred geometry movements, that when you do it, it wakes up the sleeping part of you. So what we're talking about is tapping into the divinity code. And everybody has deep in their cells this divinity code. Everybody has this part of them, which is down in the mitochondria, that is connected to source energy. You can't disconnect it. You could be evil, but at the root, down there in that flow, in that river, there is this energy that's tapped into all knowledge. What we need right now is to be able to tap in on another level, not just up in the cranial brain. We've read everything. We've read everything. We've learned it all. We know it by heart, back and forth. But when it comes to the body, there are points that you can hit. There are places that you can touch. Like even in some of the ancient martial arts, they got things they can just touch you with, or their finger, and have an effect that happens days later, weeks later. So we're going to tap into these exercises that take you into your core. We're going to do a core access experience at the end that actually taps you into the basement, the foundation, where there are boxes, and there's these articles, there's this stuff that you've obtained that's not even yours. We got a lot of hand-me-down stuff, a lot of hand-me-down habits and thoughts and feelings and judgments. They was handed down to us. So in your basement, in your subconscious, there are packages of things that we all have patterns, we don't have to know what's in these packages. So we're going to work on pulling some of that stuff out and getting rid of some of that luggage that was left by the pirates. And the pirates are the parasites. And we're going to do some things together that have never been done in the same room before. And I must say that those who are there in this room, who come to this event, will be changed. It's no way to, this isn't a thing where, you leave happy and 2 weeks later, you forgot everything you learned and it was deep until, you ran into some drama. We're going to tie it into the body, into the genes, into the cells, so that those programs, the old ones can be rewritten or recoded, and the new ones can be brought online, because there's energies coming through right now, which I know, Billy taps into. This particular time has never happened before. This 2026 is important moving into 2027. So we're going to help people prepare themselves for that part of them that is taking that next level jump. We are going through a evolution. It's a renaissance. Everything has changed, and we're going to need a new set of tools, a new set of principles, and a new approach.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm gonna share the link for y'all in the chat. Oh shit! I don't hold up. I'm gonna get the link. It's
in the private chat, probably.
Yeah. Got it.
And while you're doing that, I saw a couple people like, I couldn't log back into to the blueprint. Well, the blueprint will be, what happened? We changed our app. We have a brand new app. You just have to create a new login. Very simple. But for those of you who couldn't figure that part out, just email customer service at Forbidden Knowledge, and my daughter will log you right back in again if you couldn't figure it out. It's just a new. We upgraded our app to a completely new program. But what Dr. B and I are doing as well is for everyone who comes to this event, joins this event, either virtually or in person, you're going to get access to a copy of Blueprint 1 and 2 to watch that and rewatch that. And we're going to make it a live stream as well. It'll be a copy of this will be saved on a webinar server. You'll just be able to go to whenever you want and watch it directly from a webinar server. You won't have to go on the TV app to do it. Sometimes if you get logged out, people are saying sometimes they have trouble making a new password. So we're going to leave it up on a webinar server so you can always log back in. One thing I want to say too real quick, Rich, is, over the last, you've known me now for, I don't know, probably, maybe it's been like 10 years. I think it's been 10 years at least, or maybe 9 years, somewhere in there.
About 8, 9, yeah.
8, 9 years, somewhere in there, yeah. But you've seen my ups and you've seen my downs. Everyone has seen my ups and my downs in life, because I'm a very open person, a very candid person. As the way that I live, the way that I am online, I don't hide a lot. You're just looking at the raw me. And the reason why I do that, to be quite honest with you, is because I feel like people can watch and see a process of a person that's teaching, but at the same time going through things. I think sometimes we have this preconception that if a person is teaching and has knowledge in certain areas, that they're unscathed and untouched and they're living a perfect life and everything's the best and they never make any mistakes and they're the best at everything and they don't screw up and they don't talk negative to themselves and they never say anything bad about anybody and all these kind of things. That's an illusion. The benefit that we have of being able to hold events like this and teach like this and learn different techniques from the ancients and so forth that I've traveled to meet around the world. Like I'm going to see these Aboriginal elders in the middle of the outback. I'm going to spend a week with them in the outback in a few days. Is to go through these ups and downs in life and to experience these downs and to learn from them and to come out better on the other side and then express what was it that got me through? How did I get through this situation? Just in 2024, I died in the hospital in September, right after my birthday. And it could have been the end of it for me. I came back from that. I lost 30 pounds. I went through an online attack. And then I came to a realization within my own relationship. Ultimately, I had to go and file for a divorce. Only 10% of men file for a divorce, and I actually had to file for a divorce. So that tells you right there, you can marinate on that one. And so going through all of that, that's a lot to go through at one time in a very small period of time. And then to be consistent, working and grinding, never leaving the internet, never stopping, but powering through all of that. And at the same time, having to deal with a lot of personal issues, which in some ways are still also public. It gives you a lot of insight. It gives you a lot of growth and development. I did a lot of work on myself in certain areas of my life that I had neglected for quite some time to understand what it takes in different areas to continue to see that steady growth. So certain areas I have this steady growth like this, right? Finance, mastery in business, literacy, all these ancient civilizations, sciences, and to see something come and knock me off my rocker. But when I was down, it would have been so easy. It would have been so easy to be like, I'm down and I'm out. Hey, I'm done. But to see that resilience, to see the perseverance, to see the fight, it's that old ancient saying that Dwayne Wade took: fall down 7, stand up 8. It's the mindset that it takes. It's the understanding of self that it takes. It's understanding how to find your true power. How did I get back into my divine, feminine, masculine balance again? How did I find myself again? How did all these things happen? A lot of this is what I'll be covering at this event, because when you are going through someone's life experiences, when you are witnessing it and then trying to figure out, man, I thought this guy was down, or I thought he was gone. And at this particular moment in time, I feel more powerful than I've ever been in my life. I feel more at peace than I've ever been in my entire life. I feel more strength in my physical body than I've ever felt in my entire life. I feel more knowledge and wisdom than I've ever felt in my entire life. And I'm the most happiest that I've ever been since I've been actually born at this exact moment in time. And it's not because of financial success, even though there's a lot of great things going on there. It's because I found something within my own self that I discovered that I thought I had locked onto, but not quite. And so that kind of knowledge you can't even put a price tag on it, to share that kind of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And I'm looking forward to doing some of the techniques with y'all that really help save me and help me redefine myself, help me to become the best version of myself. These activations and hypnotherapy sessions that I was able to learn, I utilize them on myself first. I'm my own student of them through someone else, another wisdom keeper who did them with me. They're miraculous. They're really amazing. They really do some incredible work. They allow you to do some incredible work on yourself. And I'm looking forward to doing that, because a lot of people don't realize the things that we're holding on to that are connected to the issues and problems that we're having in the current moment. Those things can be tied to stuff that happened to you 15, 20, 30, in my particular case, 50 years ago, literally. And to be able to deal with those things in a way that allows you to persevere over those, but also face them, process them, move into gratitude, move into love, and work through it. So it's a great process. I'm looking forward to sharing that on March the 1st up in Atlanta.
We're all, going through a process of personal alchemy. And the first step of alchemy is calcination. And that's when you burn off all the things that you no longer need or no longer are going to use in your next session, or your next life, or your next vibration. And I'm just blown away of, the opportunities that are popping up right now, because we keep hearing how bad it is. This is the end. It's tough. The world is going through this. And, we go back to, many years ago, they had a thing during the polio. Well, just before polio, this was after the stock market fell. And the thing was, they kept saying in the news, the country is sick. America is sick. America is sick. 7 years later, after that got repeated over and over, polio pops up, because the mindset of the mass consciousness, or the all the people are connected energetically. So we begin to believe this stuff that they keep telling us over and over about ourselves. And then we repeat it. And if you repeat it, that materializes, because you're wave casting that into the quantum field. And then that becomes material. You see, I just went through one of the greatest struggles that I could possibly imagine. It was writing a book. Oh, Dr. B, where's your book? Where's your book? Where's your book? Well, guess what? What I went through to write this book was like, I had to dig into some parts of me, because I was told over and over that I was unteachable, that I was ADD, DDA, I was out and down and out, and I'm ignorant, and I'm, all of this stuff I heard as a child. I didn't think that was going to, play a role in me now, because I've been pretty successful at several things. You know what I'm saying? Why would that mess with me now? But writing a book was another level for me. Writing words and seeing, because I do have a type of dyslexia, but we all do, because we're all reading backwards. We're all thinking backwards. Most of what we got backwards. Once you realize that they say you're dyslexic, but actually you might be normal. This is the way you really read, from the bottom of the page to the top, from the right side of the page to the left. Look at some of the ancient writings. We're reading them based on an American or a English or the European mindset. Not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying that may not work for you. We got to find out what works for you. But writing this book, What's Eating You, my new book just out, I had to go through what was eating me. I had to figure out what was eating me. What was my problem? What was holding me back? What are my limitations? And I ended up going through all kinds of things in myself to figure out what was draining my energy. Because the book is What's Eating You? Break free from mental, physical, and energetic parasites. The journey, here's the important part, the journey from opposition to liberation. How many of you are on a journey from opposition to liberation? Every day, you're going to have opposition pulling you. Every day, there's another evil. In fact, the real enemy that we've got to deal with is the enemy within, enemy. We can talk about other people and what they did and what they don't do. We have all this judgment. Now we got the internet and we're pointing the finger. We're canceling folks. And what about yourself? Who are you within yourself? We got to tap in. So I wrote a book to help you tap in on. I get into so many things. If it's your love life, something may be eating you mentally, physically, spiritually, energetically. You know, George Clinton did an album. One of the first Funkadelic albums was America Eats Its Young. That's so deep. What are we talking about? America will devour you if you let it. Yep. If you allow yourself to let it in. But parasites, right? Parasites are everywhere. They're mental, physical, spiritual parasites are all, you can't get rid of them. It has to do with you detoxing. It has to do with you getting rid of the stuff that's pulling you down. And this event that we're doing is going to be like putting the capstone on the pyramid of yourself, because this is the piece. This one piece is the piece that we just haven't done before. We could talk all day, talk. What about movements? What about things that we could do, daily ceremonies and rituals that change everything? People want to know, well, what do you guys do? How do you make it? Well, we're going to show you some things that haven't been shown before. You're going to move, you're going to act, you're going to hear and feel some things that you haven't been done before. And check this out. I'm going to say this last. There's a tree that grows in West Africa in sandy soil. And the tree, what it takes from the soil is silica. The tree's limbs, everything in the tree is like wood and silica. It's like crystal and wood together. It's called the Paduke tree. The sound of the tree is amazing. It has a sound because it's like glass. And when even when lightning hits it or if a branch breaks, it's like you can hear wood and glass breaking. The frequency of this tree is amazing. The sound that it makes. So I created a drum, an instrument based on this wood, the Paduke wood, very rare, very fragile. And I created what we call the medicine drum 2. And we're going to be presenting that at this event. We created a 12-note scale that helps to shift the energy on a subconscious level to help move out some of that static that a lot of us be dealing with. In fact, I'll have some drums on sale too at the event. So the event is going to be a celebration. Folks are going to meet that have never met before. So when you come, be ready, bring your cards, bring your energy. This is a celebration of us finally breaking through. We're here. We need to celebrate being here now.
Hey, shout out to everybody all over the world watching. We got the family in South Africa. We got St. Croix. We got Costa Rica. We got a lot of international support on this channel. Yes, it's global. New Zealand. Shout out to New Zealand. Yeah, it's a lot of international support. You know, I seen something interesting the other day. And this let me know just how, and this is why we are I'm not saying we need to, because we are. Billy has his app Steve has developed, and I'm developing things behind the scenes, and this is why we need to do it. So I was watching this gentleman, a lot of you know about him. His name is Tariq Nasheed. So I was watching one of his lives the other day. Popped up Sunday night, and on the live, it was absolutely incredible. he had on the live, you know how you watching a live stream, it tells you how many people on YouTube.
Mhm.
He had, check this out. Now, this is a black conscious dude.
Yeah.
He had 150,000 people watching live.
Goodness.
Absolutely unheard of. Nobody's never seen anything like that in their life. In terms of, you know, conscious people with a live stream on you. That's like I show speed numbers. That's like I show speed right there. So then I said, I was like, I'm just watching. And so I told my lady, we're like, what the wow. So then I go back. I didn't get a chance to watch the video. I was doing things. It was Sunday night. So I go back the next day to watch the video. And it said 50,000 views. I said, what the fuck? It said 150 while I was watching live. How the hell does he only have 50,000 views? And in the comments, people was like, yo, how does this video only have, it just said 150 last night. So saying that to say, I understand that our reach is greater than what they're telling us.
Mm-hmm.
Our reach extends way greater. And we realize that when we travel or when we do events or whatever, we see the support pouring in. But if you're just going by views alone, you may not know just how big your reach is.
Yeah.
People from all over the world tuning in this channel. So I want to thank everybody from across the globe and the world for tuning in. And yeah, we're aware of the trickery that's going on social media. And that's why we are building things behind the scenes. That's why Billy has a lot of apps going on. Dr. B has stuff going on. So I just wanted to put that out there. When I seen the family pop up globally, I just wanted to share that and let y'all know that I'm aware that the support is all the way across the world, regardless of how much support they tell us we have. It's way bigger than that.
Yeah.
Wanted to touch. I want to touch on something with y'all real quick. In terms of like positive, let's say positive thinking or manifestation. That's one thing that, you know, we talk about a lot. What do y'all do personally when? Because this is a common problem. When, say, Billy, say you want to manifest, let's say a new app. Let's just say an app or something. And this is going to be a revolutionary app, or you have an invention, Billy, and you know, and you go into your meditation. What are some of your techniques to work around resistance that comes into your mind? Because it's easy to learn this information, but going into meditation or your imagination and the resistance you encounter has absolutely nothing to do with the books you read. The books you read are fantastic, but that resistance, it's a motherfucker, y'all. And when it comes, sometimes it could come hard and it could come strong in terms of your mind, to the point where you're like, damn, I know this information, but the resistance, I just keep feeling like friction when so what are some of y'all personal techniques to work around friction when it's something you want to manifest, but you just can't find a way to contemplate it in a peaceful manner because something is always interrupting that thought within your mind so you don't get the clear signal?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so this happens to a lot of people. It happens to myself. I call them ants, and I got that from Dr. Daniel Amen. So shout out to Dr. Amen, one of the world's top psychiatrists. Automatic negative thoughts. And so our default mode is automatic negative thought. And so no matter what we're engaged in, no matter what imagination we come up with, no matter what we and use our conscious thought and put intention behind to manifest, these automatic negative thoughts, they want to creep in so bad because we've been pre-programmed subconsciously to have these self-limiting beliefs. And so what you find is that we're walking around in this realm with a shield on and this armor, right? And this armor that we're wearing, we believe it's our own armor. The armor meaning our vibration, our dominant vibration, our dominant frequency. But in most cases, that armor that we're walking around with that we believe is us was given to us piece by piece. One shield, again, one piece of metal, one piece of the helmet, another piece of the helmet, the mouthpiece. It was given to us not from the time we were born. It was given to us during the gestation period. From the moment that the sperm entered into the ovum and the spark of life happened and that zinc was released and that light goes off, That's when the moment that when the spirit enters into the avatar and gives it life, and the mitosis begins and the cells begin dividing, that is the moment when you're already being influenced by outside forces. The food that the mother's eating, is it toxic or is it healthy? Is the mother smoking? Is she drinking alcohol? Is she smoking weed? What is the mother doing? Is the mother in a healthy environment? Is she arguing? Is she fearful for her life? Is she frustrated? Is she scared? Is she anxious? Is she depressed? Those hormones are flooding the embryo and also then programming the embryo subconsciously, right? What type of TV shows is she listening to? What type of movies are she watching? What type of radio station is she listening? What kind of songs what vibrations are entering the womb? Those are going to directly affect the gestation, the process of the developmental stage of the baby itself. And all of this is building this armor, this shield of armor, before we even came out of the womb. Then we come out of the womb, and the first thing they do is snatch you away from the mother, spank you. You get smacked on the ass. You get beat day number one, trauma initiated, and cry and everything else. They stick you with all these needles if you don't understand how to take care of that situation with these doctors. Put all this medicine in your eyes and everything else. And then, so you haven't gone to the mother's chest yet. So there's this disconnection. Now we have, the baby's got more shield and more armor being put on, a fear of being abandoned. The abandonment syndrome kicks in right there at the first moments of birth. And then from there, it's what the mother's telling you, what the father's telling you, what the grandparents and the cousins and uncles and nephews are telling you. That's all programming code that they're pushing on you, how to be, how to act, what to believe in, what to do, what you can and can't do, where you can and can't go. Then you get to school and they snatch any little bit of imagination you have. Shut up, sit down, be quiet, raise your hand, stand in a straight line. Get you ready for prison work. They get you ready for prison or industrial work, the war machine. And so all of this is designed to give you this shield that we believe is us, but it's not really us. And then you have the tell-lie vision, which is a broadcast. So it's broadly casting a spell on you every time you turn it on. And now that completes the shield. And then you grow up and you walk around saying, this is me, and these are my beliefs, and this is what I know, and this is what I strongly believe in and I support, and everything else. And actuality, none of it's yours. It was all given to you by other people, other forces, other sources, other vibrations. And you're walking around with someone else's vibration all over you, thinking and believing that it's yours and it's not even who you really are. And this is one of the biggest problems. This is where we fail when we get to what your question was, Brother Rich. It's understanding that a lot of this stuff that's distracting us and preventing us from doing what we're doing because we have all these negative thoughts seeping in and all this anxiety coming in and epigenetic memories working on us. The best thing that we can do is bring awareness that a lot of what you're experiencing might not even truthfully be even yours. It could be inherited from outside sources and inherited through epigenetic memory. And once you bring awareness to anything, that begins the healing process. So the first thing you need to do is find out who you are. Clear your mind, clear your space. I tell people, get a piece of paper out, draw a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, write down everything that they're passionate about, things they love, things they would like to do, things they would love to do, even if they can't do them, things they're interested in. And just keep writing on that left-hand side. Just fill up that left-hand side of the paper with all these things that you feel attracted to in any type of way. And then on the right side, begin to organize them in order, right? In the order that you would say, if this was a top priority, my top 20 list, this is the order it would be in if I was to take on the challenge of living in that and doing that or being involved in that thing. And then when they get done with that piece of paper and they look at it for the first time in their life, they finally find out who they are. They finally know exactly who they are without any other outside input because they went to inner space to get the answer. And with that level of awareness, now you can shut everything out. You can calm everything down and you can hyper focus on something you want to accomplish. When I went to write the book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, 7.5 years ago, I shut out everything. I turned my phone on airplane mode. I only turned it off airplane mode to order Uber Eats. I canceled all my appointments for 15 days and I wrote one chapter a day And in 15 days, I had a 15 chapter book. That book has been a bestseller on Amazon for 7 years running. Still today, a bestseller. Over 3,000 5-star ratings on Amazon. Why? I got hyper focused. I shut out all the noise. I realized who I truly was. I lived inside of my passion and I executed. And I think if people do that, they'll be able to dull out all the distractions, all the noise, and all the automatic negative thoughts.
So when I was working on this book for over 7 years, it was a challenge. Stopping, starting, quitting, computer breaking down, the hard drives lost. It was a challenge all the way. And towards the end of last year, right around October, I chose to fast. I didn't do anything but lemon and water and a little salt in my water. And after the first week, something started happening. I started getting motivated because I didn't have other influences. I wasn't talking to a lot of people. I went inward. I went into inner space and something popped up. And I realized that what was holding me back was my own mind and my own thoughts. And most of your thoughts are created in words. There's a chapter in my book called Linguistic Parasites. So if you think about it, language can easily fit into that category of being a parasite. What is a parasite? Something that uses another thing as a host. The next thing it does is it uses the energy and the resources of the host. Also, it uses the host to travel from one being to another and to mate and make more babies or duplicate itself. That's language. Language uses you, and most of the time what we're saying, we don't even know what we're saying and how we're saying it because we're not using the original tongue. This is not our language. So even when we explain things, sometimes what you're saying and what you really desire is not the same. It's like we speak in forked tongue. So one of the things that we teach is how to create a code, a language syntax that is very easy for the subconscious, the conscious, the superconscious, and everyone to hear what you're saying without so many words. It's short codes that you use because these short codes, when you drop them in to the quantum field, they're very specific. They've got to be auditory, they've got to be kinesthetic, auditory, visual statements. And also when we make statements, we need to talk about now. One of the things that I was doing when I was struggling, attempting to write this book was I kept thinking about the past. I even got to a point where I was talking about all the evil stuff going on in the world and how those people did this and they're doing this to us. They're oppressing us. And something hit. Say, wait a minute. Parasites are everywhere. They come in all different forms. Systemic parasites are physical, mental, spiritual, energetic. So those people who are attempting to suppress us, they got parasites too. Why else would you try to bring down a society that's going to bring down you? Why would you do things to other people's children and not think that's going to happen to you? Whatever you do to somebody else, you're actually doing to yourself too. You see, why would you do it? Because it's a society that is controlled by parasitic entities. So once you get to a point where you realize there's always going to be something out there trying to pull your energy, you got to take control. If you desire something and you ask for it or you beg for it, you're not going to get it because the universe says you don't have it. So the oppressive way of thinking, when we speak the language of disempowerment, we talk about what we want, what we need, what we want. That alone is going to keep you stuck. And that energy is going to pull you because you're not tapping in the source energy. You're not tapping into the divinity code within yourself. So this is what you do. If you desire something, be grateful in advance. I had to get to a point where I said, I'm grateful to complete this book. I'm grateful for whatever I desire. If you say, I am grateful and speak of it as if it's now, then you begin to move away from the parasites. You begin to move away from the language of oppression, the language of slaves, the language of want, and you get out of this talk about how bad it is in the world and look at where is the space that you can exist where things are good. Because if it's so bad, what can we do? You know, if we speak the language where 90% of the time we're talking about the problems, then you create more problems. They duplicate themselves. So we got to get it to the point where there's at least 80% solutions, 80% solutions, 20% problems. So one of the things that I do is I focus on what I can control. Because if you focus on what you can control, that circle gets bigger, that cipher gets bigger. If you focus on what you can't control, it gets bigger and it takes over and it eats you alive. That is like a parasitic way. We've become parasites because we're controlled by parasitic people. But as soon as we begin to break the spell and you begin to realize what's eating you, now you can begin to walk and move free and create things that will manifest based on you living in your God self.
Indeed. All right, Dr. B. Let's get to a couple of questions before we get out of here. We got one of the super chats. They want to know, what nutrition do you all take on a daily basis?
That's a good question. So what I did was I went to Life Gains. It's a place where Dr. Gaines, great name, he came up with a great name, Life Gains. He's all about life extension. And he gave me this incredible blood panel, saliva, stool sample, full body scan with several different devices. And then he worked out what my metabolic rate was, what my skeletal muscle mass and my body fat was. At the time, it was not too bad. I was at 13%. I'm down to 10% now, which is pretty good for a 54-year-old. Your biological age of your organs and all that good stuff. And then it allows you to continue to make a diet based on your own body type, your own blood panel, and the nutrients that are lacking or overly abundant. And then I took that information, did that, but I also went to another company called Biome, B as in Victor, IOME, and I ordered Biome. And I ordered Biome because it saved me literally thousands of dollars in nutrients and supplements. At the end of the day, you can have a lot of supplements. I have some of Dr. B stuff, which is great, but he's an herbalist and I'm just a guesser. So when you're a guesser, you start buying all these things and you start picking all these things up and putting them in your body. And all you're doing is turning your body into a chemistry set and hoping that it works. And when I got to Biome, what they do is they take that blood, stool, and saliva, and they found out exactly specifically what your body needs. And so from there, I was able to I get a vitamin packet every single day that has my name on the vitamins because they're made only for me. Like nobody else can take the vitamin because it's giving me, Billy Carson, what Billy Carson actually needs. And when I started doing that, along with the diet that I'm on, which is a mixed protein and a diet, macro diet, and making sure I get my 2,800 calories a day, which sounds like a lot, but it's what it takes to maintain 220 pounds. If I don't do that, I'll shrivel up to nothing. And I work out at least on a minimum 3 times, but on an average week, I'm typically working out about 4.5 days. And I say a half because some days I just might go for some walks, a brisk walk at 4.5 miles an hour for about 15, 20 minutes. It's the same thing as doing 1,000 crunches, believe it or not. A 15-minute brisk walk at 4.5 miles per hour. Same thing as doing 1,000 crunches. Good for the abs. So that's what I do. And I just watch what I eat. I don't drink soda. I don't eat candy. Thankfully that's a big thing. I don't drink any juices. I don't drink any kind of fruit juices. So they rot your teeth out and make your breath stink. So I don't do that at all. That's just my thing.
Because I do muscle testing, I do energetic testing through kinesiology to see what it is I should eat. And this whole thing about what we're supposed to eat is a very questionable thing here. This is the diet that we're supposed to eat. This is the ancient and there's all these different fads and things, but that may not be what's for you. So when you learn things like personal kinesiology, you learn to muscle test, and you actually are doing it because you could do a quick test when you get ready to buy something. Just feel it. Should I do this? What is this? This is good for me. It has to be a first person positive present tense statement. This food is good for me. And you'll get a feeling. And it may be like, oh, no, you shouldn't do that. Or yes, you should. You see? So on a daily basis, I'm testing to see what it is I should eat. Now, some foods I'm never going to touch. But I'm also taking supplements because I make my own supplements. So like right now, I'm taking Focus, this product Focus, which I have at elevationtime.com. What does it do? It keeps me focused. It's put more circulation in my brain so that I can stay focused, because my mind, it's like I'm very sensitive to environment. I'm a cultural creative. I got new ideas every second. You see, every minute there's a new voice, a new idea, new music, a new product. So I have to stay focused. So focus helps me keep me focused. But also, we're dealing in a world with a lot of stress with people. You could be in the grocery store and the stress of other people can affect you. So I don't go anywhere without heaven on earth. Heaven on earth helps to keep you in your space. It keeps you relaxed, but it doesn't make you sleepy. But it brings the beauty in life into you, because you've got to create heaven on earth. You can't wait for heaven to wait till you get there, or for somebody to give it to you. You have to create that. You see, so I take supplements. I make sure every season I'm doing my elevated total body program, which is helping to get rid of the systemic parasites. If you got parasites, you could use all the best nutrition in the world. If you've got systemic parasites, then you're never going to be focused. You're never going to be you. You're never going to be able to tap into your own divinity or your own self, because these entities, right, they're absorbing your life. And you could say, I take herbs, I don't have parasites. And there's a lot of products out there for parasites too, but they're mostly for the colon. What about the systemic parasites? And I'm going to leave it with this. The number one parasite that is controlling and affecting our planet is called toxoplasma. It plays with your mindset, your perception. It is a super bug that your regular herbs are not going to touch. Toxoplasma is the mind control parasite that was seeded in us 6,000 years ago to help create what we call this slave society. Our genes were played with to help keep us in this slave society. So these type of things, I talk about them in the book. I go through nutrition, herbs and things, and also, supplements that you could take daily. Like right now, we need to be doing vitamin D3 with vitamin K. If you don't want to take the thing, eat sunflower seeds, natural raw sunflower seeds. So there's things that you got to do every day to stay focused. Otherwise, you will be, pulled and sucked in and used by this world.
Indeed, indeed. All right, let's get to the next question. Can anyone explain the purpose for the dramatic and trauma energy that seems to circulate and be practiced on the grounds of Minneapolis, Minnesota so often in the United States?
These areas are sacred grounds. And, everywhere we walk, we're walking on the ancestors. My actual real father, who passed away back in 2018, he's from the Chickamauga tribe out of Virginia. My father was a full-blooded Native American as a black man, full-blooded. I just recently met and ran into some actual relatives from the same tribe just recently. So crazy. I ran into them by accident through someone else.
Wow.
Carson's and from the same tribe in the same exact area in Virginia. And so they're as a form of a lineage of the Blackfoot Indian. Blackfoot Native Indian is actually a derogatory term to call Native Americans, actually. Something that I even have to get out of my language, my speak. But that ground there is sacred. And so we keep defiling the ground, heavenly and sacred ground of these people. And in some kind of way, there's this energy or this karmic energy that just keeps coming back for the settlers in those locations. And I just feel like, they're not wanted there. I mean, in truth, you look at this United States of America.
Billy, man.
I did a video on this about 3 years ago, and it was called The American Holocaust. And it's still on my YouTube account. And I went through every indigenous war that the United States waged against indigenous people in this country. They killed 111 million indigenous natives over the course of 70 years. 70 years, they wiped out 111 million in this thing that they said that was their manifest destiny, which is why I call my event Manifest Destiny. I took a negative terminology and I flipped it into positivity. And they came here and felt like they had the right to eradicate or genocide the people that were already here and literally take their land and call themselves settlers when they're just really thieves and crooks and swindlers, because a lot of it was also swindling by offering up gadgets and devices in exchange for thousands of acres of land. And then Mexico, when they had the battle against the Spaniards, which Mexicans aren't Spanish. Mexicans would walk around saying, I'm a Latino. No, you ain't no damn Latino. You're a Mayan, you're an Aztec. You're delusional is what you are. And after they got done fighting the Spaniards and fought them off, they were in a weakened state. And that's when America says, hey, they were in a weakened state. Let's go take more of their land. So they took California, took Texas, and took the area called New Mexico and called it settling again. So that adds to the 111 million. And so this land has a lot of bad blood, a lot of dark energy. This land that we're walking on is full of genocided people. And in some ways, the energy comes back. And I think that, in my opinion, I just think it wants revenge sometimes. It wants to be known that it's there. And that's what I feel. We meaning them, they take these lands away and then name the sports teams after them, name cities after them, name streets after them. It's an insult. It's an absolute insult. It's a slap in the face, and it's the same as getting spit on and stepped on at the same time. So that's my feeling behind it.
I think that because we are at a very special time, and the scientists knew that we'd be waking up from this 6,000 year sleep. And when you start looking at the 26,000 year calendar, where we are on that calendar, we're moving into the morning or the dawn of the new age, of a new time. And we are awakening, but we still have a lot of the energy from the 6,000 year of the Iron Age, which at the end became the Rusty Age. You see, so it's still in our consciousness. And a lot of us are waking up because we're now in the photon belt, the photon band. So those biophotons, those little biophotons, which are living light creatures, we're bathed in it. Our whole solar system is in that right now. And every 13,000 years, our whole solar system goes through this photon band, and the people wake up. The animals wake up. Everything changes because there's more light force, there's more biophotons, more energetic energy feeding us, more information is coming to us. And when we start having more information, we start remembering, and we start knowing, and we start tapping in to that ultimate consciousness. And we start breaking out of slavery. We start breaking out the cell. So what they're going to do is they're creating all kinds of stuff for you to see. And they're feeding it to you. And you say, oh, wow, why is this happening all of a sudden? This stuff is happening all the time. It's always happening. But they decide where to point the cameras and how to scare you. And, oh, boy, what's going on every day? Now, you focusing on that may not be able to focus on your genes waking up, your body waking up. You tapping into that part of your gene pool, right, into what they call the junk DNA, which is being programmed by its environment. So if you now have access to a part of you that you haven't had access to, but you program it with the environment of pain and drama and trauma, and look what they're doing to us. Listen, the opposite is always pulling you. When you're climbing a mountain, there's always the gravity is attempting to pull you back. We keep talking about what they're doing. It's a question of what we're doing, how we're tapping in. This is the time for us to tap into ourselves and to find a few people that we can walk with, that we can move with, that we can be connected with. Reciprocal relationships are important right now. How many of you out there are in relationships where you're the healer, you're the teacher in the relationship, you're the doctor, and you're the teacher, but you always end up relating with students? You see, because you're so used to helping, trying to help everything, because we think it's really bad. But for it to be so bad, it must also be good. So what's happening in Minnesota and all these places, its purpose is to get you to think that the devil, as the preacher said one time, the evil, right, is more powerful than anything else. It's not. It has to be equal. As bad as it is, it's also good. So we've got to figure out which way we're going to point our boat. When you're on a ship, you need to know your telos. Where are we going? What is our goal? We got to focus on being goal-minded, because this stuff is always happening. Disease is always happening. It's always going to be challenged, but it has to do with how we focus our energy. That's why we're having this event. That's why we got to learn how to tap into our divinity code, because this is the first time in many, many, many thousands of years that we're going to be able to tap in, because so many things have arranged themselves. Look at the new calendar that just popped up, the new energies that are here right now. Look at all the changes that we have been through. This is the time to tap into your divinity and stop looking at what they're trying to tell you and who they're telling you to be and how you should feel about life. It's time to choose.
All right. Let's keep this thing going. Well, this is a particular part of the body. A person has a question about how to remove energy blocks from the body, and they put legs in parentheses.
That's interesting. Sometimes we get energy blocks in the body. One of the things that I do in my Forbidden Knowledge Academy, we talk about energy blockages in the body. We talk about where are you getting stuck? Why is it that you can't move past a certain place? And we do a body audit. We do an audit of our body. And a lot of it sometimes has to do with your dominant thought for the hour, your dominant vibration for the hour. So what we started having people do was once every hour, stop at the end of the hour, put a little timer on your phone, a little reminder on your phone calendar, and go stand somewhere privately or sit in your cubicle or wherever you can go, and just close your eyes and just do an audit of the body. Find out where the blockage is, find out where you're feeling stuck. And then, to be honest with you, talk to it. We actually talk to that part, talk to the legs. Ask them, hey, what's going on? Why are you stuck? Why are we stuck? What is this blockage? And then just be patient and be silent. Don't force it. Don't try to create something. Just listen to your own body speak. And you'll be surprised what you hear and what you find out. And then you bring that awareness. And once you bring the awareness to that area, now the healing can begin. The energy can begin to flow, because now you can begin to make the adjustments again. And so, that's one of the things we teach in the 4BK Academy. And we may go through some of those types of blockages inadvertently at the event on March the 1st, because some of the hypnotherapy that we're going to do is going to take you back to a time where you had some situations going on, even some that you forgot existed. And we're going to bring those up, and we're going to face those things, those challenges, and we're going to deal with them, and we're going to process those things out of the body. Not that you forget that they ever happened, but that you won't be afraid to face them, acknowledge them, move through them, express gratitude for what you learned from it, and get into the frequency of love and move on. And that particular blockage won't affect you anymore. And that's what it's really all about.
When we find there's issues in the legs and issues below the waist, it has to do with our foundational self. It has to do with the root of you. So usually it's childhood. It's things that happened in the past that you haven't actually, resolved yet. So there are some exercises. So like the psoas muscle is the largest muscle of the body. It holds on to a lot of energy. It remembers, because we have cellular memory. It's remembering the drama. You see, so you're living in fight or flight or freeze, and some of us are into, the fawn syndrome, where we're just acting like we got it together and we're okay and we're the joy of the party, but actually we haven't dealt with some of that childhood stuff. So we're going to do some exercises at the event to show you how to remove some of that energy, how to stretch those muscles, and how to bring new energy, new circulation into your life, because this has got to do with circulation. Circulation is the most important thing. You must be circulating your dollars, circulating your energy, circulating your mind, circulating love. Circulation is the thing that has to happen. So we're going to do some of those exercises at the event.
All right. Let's get to a couple of more questions. What does the moon energy have on your moods?
Oh, wow. Well, the moon is a pretty powerful thing. I mean, it has a real effect on the moon, on the mind and the body, your spirit, your energy, your vibration. On certain nights when we're going to have a full moon, before the full moon happens, police officers or police stations or your PD office, they will ramp up or staff up, because they know that there's going to be more calls on a full moon. The hospital adds more staff to the emergency room. Why? Because they know that more people are going to come to the emergency room that night when there's a full moon. So what is that? It's not woo-woo, it's actually real science. They know that the moon has a direct effect on human consciousness, and the gravity field also has a direct effect on our physiology. It's something about that full moon that activates something inside of us. And for people who don't have a certain level of control over their frontal lobe, they'll act out and do things that they probably normally would not do. Otherwise, hence, they wouldn't have more police officers on duty and more people inside the emergency room. And so the moon is powerful. There's a study that was done in low Earth orbit with embryos, and they took these embryos of frogs. They took some embryos that were born on Earth up there, and they had some that were actually born in the low Earth orbit. They were studying the developmental stages of the embryos all the way until they reached maturity, and then looking for their personality traits. And they found that the frogs that had grew up that started out in gravity and then taken up there to develop the rest of the way had different personality traits than the ones that were developed in low Earth orbit, which is almost zero gravity. So they learned that gravity fields and energetic fields affect the gestation process and the developmental process of embryos into children and eventually into adults. You can apply the same thing to frogs. You can apply it to a human. You can apply it to a rabbit. It doesn't matter. We know that energetically, these fields affect our development and our consciousness. And this is why initially, years ago, I didn't really believe in astronomy. Now, there are some astrology. There are some astrologists out there that are just making stuff up. But as I studied the science and talked to some scientists that were involved in the research project, not only with animals, but even with plant life, I was like, wow, I can see now that under a particular day with a particular alignment of gravitational fields and energy fields and even cosmic rays, a person could be directly affected during the gestation period, developing into a full embryo, and then even during the 9-month cycle, that it could give them particular character traits under those alignments, and that could then be predictable over time. So I found that astrology has a lot of reality to it based on real peer-reviewed science, and that got me really intrigued. So when you start talking about the full moon, I can see how it now would directly affect consciousness, because it's a celestial body and it's also conscious. Everything is conscious, and these fields interact with us in ways that affect our conscious mind. So yeah, I definitely believe it.
All right, Dr. B, close that out.
When the full moon is happening, because of the high tide, the full moon has an effect on gravity. So it pulls water up. So your body is basically water, and it's pulling fluid, it's pulling more blood up into your head. So a lot of folks are not used to having that much circulation in their head. So they begin to act different. They feel different. It's because you have more access to oxygen. But if you have been in an oxygen deficient situation where you've been struggling to breathe, you've been struggling to live, all of a sudden that energy can be used to help elevate your mindset. So that full moon energy, once you tap into it, it's going to bring energy up, because a lot of what's happening is energy is moving down. So it's about us going through the 28-day cycle where energy is moving down and it's moving up and it's moving down. And that changes the way we live, because we actually live in a torus field. We're toroidal. We're toroidal transformers. Once you understand the torus and the torus field and how the torus field is affected by different gravities and different motions and different objects in the sky and objects in our mind, and how inner space is affecting the outer space. So the full moon can be used as a tool. The new moon right now, it's new moon, right? It's a tool once you tap into that part of yourself that needs to be energized. It's about energy. It's about focusing the energy during these times.
All right. Shout out to Ascendant Infinite Goddess. She's asking, peace gods, how many auric layers do you recognize in the human field? Gratitude.
Wow. So now some people can see auras very easily. There was a gentleman I watched recently on a documentary who was about an 85 IQ on average, just an average IQ. And he got beat up in a subway. I believe it was New York, unfortunately. And this beating was brutal. When he got to the hospital, he was in a coma. But when he came out of the coma, he had this tapped into the rest of his mind. And he had the ability to see auras and sacred geometry and mathematics in everything. His eyesight even changed. Quantum physicist and another scientist discovered that he had these abilities. So a doctor discovered it, then sent them to these specialists who are really into quantum physics and mathematics, and found out the guy had become a functioning savant, which means he's tapping into percentages of his brain that hardly anyone is able to access, and he can still function as a normal person, non-autistically. And he could see the aura around people. And he would see in this documentary 3 layers. It doesn't mean that's all there is, but if you study the 7 chakras, right, we get up to the crown, but we know that in the Vedic text, there are chakras even above the crown. And I believe that these higher dimensional chakras are part of the aura of a person. And they could go up to as many as 11 in some cases if you study the text. Just my perspective on the knowledge I've been able to piece together, understand, and learn. And a lot of it made me go research it because of this documentary that I saw years ago with this gentleman who ended up being beaten into a higher level of consciousness. Literally, they literally knocked sense into him, which is the craziest thing ever. And so these fields are there. These auric fields are there. This man proves it with mainstream science. And he's only seeing 3, but there could be more than 3.
Billy, you cold-blooded. You said they knock sensitive, man. Come on, Billy. Oh, man. Dr. B, you want to touch on that right there? How many auric layers do you recognize in
They're
human?
infinite. I was told many years ago by Michael Beckwith. He said, Dr. B, you know, you're a medical intuitive. I said, what do you mean? He said, how is it when people walk into the room, you know exactly what's going on with them? It's because I see music around people. I see sound, I see frequency, and sounds, frequencies all have colors. And the colors and the sounds and the auric fields that we've chosen to look at are the ones that our limited minds have chosen or we see. But when you start opening up your spectrum to other levels, and it's not, you know, things happen to you, like the guy got beaten into consciousness, or you know what I'm saying? Things happen. Some things happen to me. I talk about it in the book about what happened to me in the Bermuda Triangle. What made me have this experience? I talk about that whole thing about all of a sudden I could smell things that other people couldn't smell. I could see things that other people couldn't see. So in my mind, there is endless auric fields. There is a biosphere. You see, there's a magnetosphere. We are universes. We are not just people. We are universe. In fact, the beings that live in us don't know they're in us. They're in a whole world. They're in a whole universe. So we talk about me, my stuff. It's actually we. We are universes within universes within universes within universes. You see, so it's endless. So I choose not to limit, you know, who we are and what we could be. Some people have the ability to just know, and that, you know, a lot of us have that. You know, we're precogs. Many of us you know something before it happens. Billy's a precog. Brother Rich, you's a precog. Y'all be talking about stuff before it happens. Then it happens. You see, then people say, "Oh, you know, he just guessed." No. If you know how to feel something, and when it's on the event horizon, you can feel the energy, the auric field of it before it happens. But you have to be really, you know, silent with yourself at times. You have to be quiet. You have to trust. And a lot of folks don't trust because they've trusted too many other things, and it's gotten them into trouble. So they don't know how to trust anymore. Trust is a deep thing, to trust your gut. And without your gut being online, bro, those mitochondria, and you know, because you've got the microbiome, which are alien creatures, which are connected to the entire universe. Some of those mitochondria, it is connected to the mycelium, and the way that whole system works, we are everything and everything is us. But it's about getting quiet and getting clear signal once again. That's some of the things we're going to be talking about at that event on March 1st. And I talk about those in my book also, What's Eating You.
Indeed. You know, Dr. B brought up something earlier, and I was going to say some. Where's it at? I seen okay, you was talking about wave casting earlier, and you said something about the collective consciousness, and the thing I immediately thought of is the whole I can't breathe thing. That when what's the gentleman's name that was killed by the police? Eric Garner. Was it Eric Garner? The I can't breathe, where the I can't breathe thing came from? It might have been Eric Garner.
He was one of the first ones to be choked over a pack of cigarettes, and he said he couldn't breathe, and then
A lot of people said I can't breathe, but I think his is the one where the slogan came from. And I've been saying this for years since I lived in New York. I've been saying that, and somebody put it in the chat. Nick, shout out to Nikki Love. I've been saying since Brooklyn, I don't feel I know that the collective consciousness, especially of melanated people, you got to understand the power that melanin represents and how much light it absorbs and all the lies and the information that is being suppressed by melanin. And even why there's been a campaign consistently against melanin dominated individuals. I truly know that the whole I can't breathe, the energetic aura that came about as a result of that caused COVID to come about. It was a huge factor in people not being able to breathe a year or two later after the whole I can't breathe thing. Everybody had on a mask and literally couldn't breathe. The whole world couldn't breathe after, and we have such an inferiority complex, but after a bunch of niggas said they couldn't breathe, and we said it with our, you know how they say it with your chest, nigga. They say it with your chest. We said it with our chest. We said it with our heart. And if our heart is the strongest electric magnetic field, come on, y'all. You know what the hell we projected into the quantum field?
Mm-hmm.
The people who they said was, come on, the gods, come on now, y'all. So I know that we had some type of effect, and I know the Epstein thing and everything, Bill Gates, all of those are circumstances. But the source, the ones who allowed it energetically to even be possible, and this is why they need our energetic permission, and this is why they try to rile up our emotions all the time. I really feel like that slogan was a catalyst and was a true source of all of that we seen happen in 2020 come about. And what I was going to say is, I feel as though I've been thinking about the Epstein thing, and I've been thinking about, this pedophile ring that's going on. And I seen Billy put up a post. Billy said he had a picture of the Cosmos. And let me rant for 5 minutes. I know I was just a little long-winded. Okay, Billy had a post of the Cosmos, and he had a little circle, and he said, "We're right here paying taxes to satanic pedophiles." I said, damn, when you put it like that, oh shit, that's where we at? This vast universe, and we're right here, a little dot, paying taxes to satanic pedophiles and acting like everything's okay and acting like we're free and acting like, it's all good. And I'm like, whoa, this shit has got to change. Yeah. What I'm suggesting and what I'm thinking about, what can I do with my position in this realm at this time? What I'm suggesting, and I'm going to reach out to influencers like Billy, Dr. B. I'm talking about every influencer, everybody I know. I'm reaching out to them. Who could Billy put up a post on Instagram, and it might have 50,000 likes, or we have a vast range of people we affect. I am suggesting, if we are wave casters, if we are able to, we read about the emerald tablets, we know words are spells, and we know how powerful collective consciousness is. I'm suggesting that we come up with a slogan that is going to change the paradigm unlike anything we ever imagined, just like we came up with I Can't Breathe, and we changed it in a negative way, and we've seen what that was able to bring about. I'm suggesting that we come up with something that we can agree upon, that people won't feel intimidated by, people won't feel that's too radical or too this or too that. Something that we can agree on. We could get on behind the scenes, off the camera. We could get on the line and we could agree on something as the battery of this planet, as the influence of this planet, as the magicians of this planet, as the paradigm shifters of this planet. If we could all agree on something and have millions of people chanting this thing, we could change this thing faster than they ever imagined. So I'm just letting you know, and this is the first time I'm saying this out loud. I'm gonna be reaching out to. I'm talking about everybody I know, and my contacts. I'm good out here because I move with integrity. So when I say something, a lot of people listen to Brother Rich. A lot of people pay attention to things I have to say. This is going to be something that I placed on the priority list, in which I reach out to creators and I let them know, listen, I'm serious about this shit, and I'm serious about the power that we possess. And I feel as though this is a turning point in humanity where we can make a move that really shake this shit up. Like we gonna listen, we're gonna shake this shit up, y'all. And I'm just letting y'all know I'm gonna be reaching out to y'all soon. I'm gonna talk to a couple of people, and we're gonna come up with something, and we're gonna this quantum thing is not entertainment, y'all. We're not here to entertain y'all. This shit is 1,000% real, not 1,000% real. So I'm just letting y'all know I'm gonna be reaching out to Billy. I'm talking about everybody I know, anybody who's on my contact list that I feel as though will come with a good vibe, a good energy. I'm reaching out to y'all. So if you're listening, y'all could expect a phone call from me in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we did this Epstein shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, this. Now we awake now. The gods is awake now. So
we're awake. You're awake. You're awake, man.
I had to say that.
I love it. I love the energy. I love the energy, man, because you're talking about bringing solutions to problems through energy and vibration, and I love it. That's exactly what we need to do. You hit it right on the head.
Yeah. Let one more time before we get out of here. What we've been on about an hour and 30 minutes. Let the people know what y'all got coming up and contact information. I know Dr. B just came out with a book. Billy always coming out with books. Let people know what's coming up, y'all. Well,
we have the most important thing is we have Unlock Your Divinity Codes. The link is in the live chat. If you could drop the link one more time, Brother Rich. UnlockDivinityCodes.com. UnlockDivinityCodes.com. And Brother Rich will drop the link in the live chat. March the 1st, 9:30 to about 3 o'clock or so. We sometimes do a little bit overtime. But it's going to be a great day, great live in person. We will live stream it as well for some who can't get there, but we definitely would love to have you there in person because we have a lot of activities that we're going to have you doing, a lot of exercises that we're going to have you doing. I'm not talking about lifting weights. I'm talking about conscious, thought exercises, thought experiments, hypnotherapy, and some body movements as well. They're going to help you move and shift energy. And Dr. B has something very special as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there. I'm looking forward to helping Dr. B launch his brand new book. I can't wait to get it in my hands, a physical copy of his thoughts. And I've been talking to him about this book for years, and it finally has manifested, but everything happens in divine time. So it's the right time, the right place, it's the right era, and it's the right system to release this information. So I'm excited about that too. So shout out to Dr. B.
All right. Good, Dr.
Brother Billy.
Yes, sir.
We are in the Renaissance period. So if you go back to what they call the Renaissance period, that's when they were taking all the knowledge of the past and covering it up and whitewashing it. They were changing everything, the art, the language.
Dr. B, hold up. They made Beethoven white. And his contemporary said he described him as swarthy.
Yes.
Look at what swarthy means.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They repeatedly described him as swarthy. Then 500 years later, he's white as Donald Trump. No, Donald Trump isn't white. He's orange. So that was a bad example. But y'all get the point I'm trying to make. But go ahead, Dr. B.
See, we are programmed by propaganda.
Yeah.
Some of what we think is conscious knowledge is actually propaganda. Some of the people who you think Our super conscious are agents, almost like they're agents, but they didn't go to a school. Somebody didn't approach them. They became agents just on how they lived and how they believe and how they've been raised. And when you have come up in a world based on oppression, then after a while, you live in that world so much, you become oppressive. You become an oppressor and don't even realize it. We sometimes we're doing the same thing we say that they were doing against us, because the programming and the loops that we're being fed right now, we might think something is some really deep knowledge, but that is twisted. They tell you where you're from. You're from everywhere. You're not even from the planet. We're universal beings. We're travelers. Why do we got to say we're from here and I'm this and I'm that? We are everything and everything is us. So we get caught up in this stuff that they keep pointing the finger and telling you, look at this. And some of those beings, the spin masters, create controversy. This is all a part of COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence programs. You see, so even like you said, you're looking at the internet and somebody's got a whole bunch of likes and, all of a sudden you look at it again, it's changed. This has been going on forever. And even when they weren't here, what we call those people, there was always something in nature to challenge us. There's always going to be a challenge. So what we have to do is we have to look at the challenges. Look at Gene Key 55. You got to go from the nymph living in the swampy water, right? And something has got to happen that the imaginal cells inside got to turn on, and all of a sudden you crawl up the reed and become a dragonfly. But in order for the dragonfly to fly, it's got to take its swampy water that's still in its body and pump it into its wings. So we got to use this drama and this trauma and these tests and these trials and these tribulations to teach us how to fly. It's a test. It's an obstacle course, and only the best are going to get through it. A lot of us realize that a lot of this is illusion. It's smoke and mirrors. Now, I'm not saying it's not going on. I'm saying, well, what's going on in each one of us? We got to tap in. We got to figure out what is eating us. That's why the book, What's Eating You? What is eating you? The resource guide in the back is off the chain. I give you so many resources so you can go do the research on your own. So you can go to elevationtime.com to get the book. Also, we got to get rid of our parasites. But the main thing is we have to tap in to the divinity code deep inside. What is that? How do we do it? It's not about talking. It's not about convincing. It's not about selling. It's about using these sacred technologies that tap us in ways that we've never been able to do before. You couldn't do this before. We weren't in this position. They don't even know where the North Pole is floating. Where is the North Pole? What is the North Pole? It's all an illusion and an agreement. So we're going to break some agreements, make some new agreements on March the 1st, which is really, we're beginning a new year. We're beginning a new time. This is the time to let go of some things that have been holding us back and move on to some new things and tap into the code, the river, the flow, the currency that's always been down in us. It's just been covered up by trauma, covered up by fear, covered up by anger and emotions. So I'm going to be there on the 1st, introducing my new instrument, my new medicine drum. I'm going to have my new book. Billy's going to have some books. We're going to do book signing. We're going to shake hands. We're going to talk, and we're going to tap into that part of us. That is where the real power, that's where the nuclear power happens. That's where the nuclear fission is happening in us. We got to tap into those divinity codes right now. We got to do it fast, and we can't let the mass distraction make us think that it's so bad when actually the sun is out, even though it looks like it's cloudy. This is the time to rise and shine. Are you ready? Let's go.
Let's go.
Excellent.
Let's go.
Excellent.
All
Hey,
right.
Billy, Dr. B, want to thank you for coming on the show, gentlemen. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Hey, thank you for letting us come on here and talk to your following, man. And
Let me share that link one more time for the family
Great.
also.
Drop the link in there. I call
Yep.
your people leaders as well. And
Indeed.
shout out to all the Forbidden Knowledge Academy mentees and leaders that I see in your live chat there from the 4BK Academy, always representing. But your people, one thing I know about you, Brother Rich, is you don't have followers either. You have leaders. Because you don't develop followers, you develop leaders. Accounts like ours only develop leaders. We don't develop followers. We have no sheep. We have no sheep. Sheep are led to slaughter. And so it's a blessing. Yeah.
Definitely. Indeed. Appreciate the
All
time,
right.
really,
See
Dr.
y'all
B.
later. Thank
Thank
y'all,
you so
brothers.
much.
I got to
Thank you
go
very
do a
much.
mentoring class now.
All right. Peace and blessings. All
Travel
right.
light.
Peace.
Travel
All
light.
right. Yeah, shout out to Billy and Dr. B for coming on the show once again. Amazing show. In the times that we live in, we definitely need information like that circulating in our community. Yeah, there's a renaissance going on. There's a spiritual renaissance going on. There's just a renaissance going on right now, and it's a beautiful thing, regardless of how it may seem on the outside. So, once again, shout out to Billy and Dr. B. I will be back on Friday. But yeah, like I said, I got this. Somebody in the chat said we're gonna chant down Babylon woman. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. We are. We are. I swear, family. I know. I did. My spirit told me years ago. I'm like, yo, we had to be a huge catalyst in bringing about the. Listen, the reason why they put things in movies, you got to understand where the battery. So the reason why they put things in the movies is because they get millions of us to go to this dark room. We look at this screen, we go through emotions, we conjure up emotions, and we project all of that. Your brain don't know the difference between imagination and reality. So whatever they put in the movies, your brain is thinking that's reality. Just like if you see it happen in real life most of the time. This is why you can cry in the movie, get sad, get happy. This is why you get happy when the good guy wins and you're sad if the bad guy wins. All of this is part of the manifestation process. And then we've been lied to so much about how reality gets created in this realm. So, yeah, we have to understand who we are. We have to understand that we are the magicians of the planet. We have to understand that they've been using our powers against us and our emotions, especially against us. And I feel as though if we could bring about, there's nothing as long, it don't matter how old you are on this planet at this time, we've never experienced something. We never experienced a move that they made like COVID, where the government made a move like that. Not, and I don't want to, people may have lived through the 60s or something and be like, Brother Rich, you ain't lived through the 60s. So I don't, let me tread lightly when I say that. But COVID was something like we most of us haven't experienced something like that. And the manipulation that took place around that time. And I feel as though we give them permission. They say the vampires can't enter unless you allow them in. You allow vampires in by having certain thoughts. So they know that. So they put things in the media so they could give you, so you could have certain thoughts so that you may allow them in. But they cannot do things like that unless we give them permission in a collective sense. So this is the whole purpose. This is why Hollywood is Hollywood, but we're going to reverse that. We are definitely going to reverse that. We are definitely going to reverse that. And we have to come up with our slogan that will bring us into 2030. I feel as though we come up with our own slogan, our own chant, something absolutely like, wow, something amazing or just drastic will happen within a year or two of us coming up with that chant. So I'm going to be talking to a lot of people about it. I'm going to be talking to a lot of people about it, including y'all, and agreeing on something, just getting on one accord, putting our egos to the side, and really using our magic, really using our magic, Yeah. Diamond said, yes, create our own sigils, communities, mantras, everything. Yeah. Even you got to understand, even with the word woke, let me give you an example. With the word woke, life is a dream and reality is a dream. And when we always we'll say things like, yo, I'm awake now. Before woke, we'll be like, damn, when I woke up from, whatever, we'll talk like that. When mainstream got a hold of our language that we use outside of regular language, how we talk, they take our words and they manipulate them. So they took something. Woke is an important word because woke represents lucid living. Woke represents this being a dream and us being awake within a dream, which means just like you're lucid dreaming when you wake up within a dream, woke represents lucid living. They took that word and they corrupted it so, just like they do everything. The swastika. Come on, y'all. Every culture in the world had that symbol. They take everything we come up with and they corrupt it so much, we forget the technology that's going on. We forget that was our word. Our sister, I believe our sister Erykah Badu came up with that word woke. This is not an invention of the far right. This is not an invention of the LGBTQ. This is not an invention of the liberals. This is a genuine invention of the grassroots that was corrupted, just like everything else they corrupt. So we got to be very careful and aware of their tricks and them adapting things we say. If we're magicians and words are spells, they're constantly trying to take our spells and re-identify our spells. Oh, well, this stands for that, or that stands for this. They always trying to redefine what you telling, what you saying, or what you said it originally meant. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's George. Okay, no, George Floyd came later on. I know George Floyd was that was in Minnesota, but I was talking about when it first popped off when I think it was Eric Garner. I believe it was Eric Garner, because the police in New York had the shirts that said "I can breathe." They're so degenerate. Imagine somebody getting choked to death and the people develop a slogan saying "I can't breathe," and the actual police wear shirts that say "I can't." Like, you got to understand how degenerate some of these individuals are that you see every day on the street that you think is a good person that's really not. So, but yeah, we're gonna figure this thing out. We're definitely gonna figure this thing out. Shout out to everybody. Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat. I started talking. Yeah, we are the great eventers. Yep. I wonder what the CIA is thinking watching this right now. I would say if I could analyze this show or any of this conscious stuff from their perspective, their first thought would be, that's pretty good. That's pretty clever. They would say that's pretty clever. And they would just think we got to flood the market. Their approach is they can't stop what's going on. So they just got to flood the market with misinformation. You got to understand the internet. And this is why I'm creating these. I'm telling you, a lot of things being created behind the scenes. This is why I'm creating these micro communities outside of social media. You can't stop the gods or the cosmos or whoever from flooding the realm with this information. But what you can do is counter that by flooding it with misinformation. So it becomes so confusing that a person just says, fuck it, man, I ain't got that. It's a rabbit hole. It becomes so confusing that a person's like, I ain't got time for this. I got you on top of that. You make them pay $2,500 for rent a month. You make everything expensive. I mean, you make the cost of living so outlandish that they won't even be interested, even if they hear Brother Rich on the channel. They got to worry about rent. They got to worry about their children. They got so many. You hear it all the time. What y'all niggas talking about that for? We got to worry about the white man. And because this is what I'm saying. If the rent don't get them, If the bills don't get them, if all of that don't get them, you put on the news a black man being maybe shot 20 times. That'll get their attention. That'll get them fearful. That'll get them angry. That they got all these techniques that they do. They got all these techniques that they do. But we survived all of it. We survived all of it. The fact that we are here right now listening to a show about the spiritual reset lets us know that they have absolutely no power, but they were here to fulfill their role for a very, very short period of time, cosmically speaking. And it is our time again. I truly, truly believe Jesse Jackson passing away, very symbolic. Very, very symbolic, especially with all the talk going on around right now about FBA, Rod Hayes talking about we're not from Africa, or Dane Calloway talking about indigenous blacks, or Top Cats, or and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. That was a message, I believe, from the cosmos, that whole identity that we took upon the last whatever years is gone. That shit is gone. Shit is gone. So much is changing right now. I mean, so much is, it's a turning point. Yeah. Somebody said turning point. Yep. And New Diamond said during the clip. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, that whole during Black History Month. Listen, you know how you get so many, you know how you get clues from the universe and you be like, that's a coincidence. That's a coincidence. That's a coincidence. Nah, nigga, too many coincidences. Too many coincidences. Nope, this ain't a coincidence. This is synchronicity. This is a clear message that we are headed in the right direction, that we are waking up, and that we need to continue doing what we're doing, but even step it up even more. Because we know we got universal support. And some of us feel like we're in this journey by ourselves because our family or friends don't support us. But what if your family and friends don't support you? But what if you have the support of the universe behind you? Although you can't see it with your eyes. And that is one of the things that I feel as though the biggest message that I got from 3-Eye Atlas, the whole 3-Eye Atlas thing, and the name in itself, I feel as though Bobby used to talk about the spirits influencing Hollywood writers to come up with certain scripts. So Bobby would talk about coming to America and how that's our journey. You go to a foreign land to pretend like you're something that you're not. He wanted to pretend like he was poor, but he had access to wealth at any time, any given time. He had access to unlimited wealth because he was the Prince of Zamunda. Well, guess what? We are the prince and princesses of spiritual Zamunda. We have access to unlimited wealth at any time. Arsenio Hall, after a while, Arsenio Hall said, fuck that. Send me some money. Arsenio Hall got some money sent to him. He fixed up the apartment. But he went to America because he wanted to feel. He wanted to feel. He wanted to experience something. We come to Earth for that same very reason. We want to feel or experience something. So Bobby Hemmett said that the spirits communicate with these directors because they understand that they will influence mass consciousness. And if you want to affect mass consciousness as a spirit, you have to connect with the people that are in places to influence mass consciousness. So they would influence writers at certain times to come up with certain scripts. Coming to America, I would advise you watch it again from a spiritual perspective. Definitely watching again from a spiritual perspective. But with the 3-Eye Atlas thing, I will say that it has taught me one thing that has taught me like tremendously. My phone keep ringing. is that in esoteric circles, they view your inner vision. You know how they say the third eye? So it's 3-eye atlas, your third eye. They view the third eye as the primary vision and our physical eyeballs as secondary. In main society, outside of these secret societies, we take our eyeballs and we use them in our day-to-day, everyday life as primary vision, and we use our third eye, what we call our third eye, as secondary vision. What we will do coming up in a new era is it will flip. This is going to be secondary vision. So your physical eyes must become secondary. Your third eye or first eye or inner vision must become primary. Remember when Neo lost his vision in the Matrix and he started seeing the codes? We're going to see the codes. This will become secondary. Imagine if your eyes, this is secondary. That's Atlantean, Lemurian shit. If they even had the same eyes that we had. But this will become secondary. And what we falsely or incorrectly call our third eye will become primary. So, yeah. It is some good times coming up. It is some good times coming up, family. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. About to get out of here soon. Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat. But yeah, I'm serious real quick before I see what y'all. This chant that we will develop, this chant, this mantra, or whatever you want to call it, this is the biggest display of magic that we could display as a community at this time, because we're spread around globally. Number one, we're not all in the same community. We're spread around. So what can we do, being that we're all in different geographical locations? We're all into different religions and spirituality and this and that. So it has to be something that unite all of us. And we can only meet up physically in person so many times a year together collectively. Because like I said, we have families to take care of. One thing we can do, no matter where we are in the world, is chant. It's chant collectively. And when you chant, the quantum field hears the chant. The quantum field hears the chant. It's just, and I seen earlier in the chat, New Diamonds had posted, right? She was like, "What's in my pocket, dog?" So y'all see this is, and that's just a small example on my channel, right? So I'll be like, "What's in my pocket, dog?" That's Big Face 100. We need a chant. Even that right there was preparing me to come up to help create a chant for our people. That comes from Blas. That's a rap song, but that's it. That's so effective because it's a chant. It's a mantra. All that I was doing, and I did, that was just preparing me for this here right now, this day right here, right now. So we will develop our own chant. We've always had chants. If you see the like I was talking, I said, right, in the Moors in Roman times and all in antiquity, they'll be like, "Long live the empire!" They always had a chant. "Long live the empire!" Like they always had a chant that everybody would chant. We need our chant. Chant, 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 chant. I'm a music producer. It will give me great pleasure to help produce the chant for fallen humanity. That is an absolute amazing position to be in. Help produce the chant for fallen humanity. We are rising. Yeah, man, this is a beautiful thing. Like I said, I'm gonna reach out to, when I get everything together, I'm gonna reach out to all the creatives. I know all the influencers. I'm reaching out to everybody. This Epstein thing. Because I'm like, damn, well, I know this is a turning point, and it's absolutely sickening to see what's going on. What is my role in all of this? And that came to me. And when the sister talked about the I can't breathe, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna mention it tonight. I was like, I'm gonna mention it tonight. So yeah, we're gonna we gotta come up with a collective chant for and I don't even want to say fallen humanity, for the rising humanity or whatever. We gotta be real careful with our words. We gotta be real careful with the words that we use, being that we are you know, language of spells, and we are, what's that word Dr. B use? Wave casters or whatever. You know. Yeah, shout out to Dave. Dave, like, let's create it and move with it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have you on that call. I'm gonna call you. You're gonna be on there, Dave. It's gonna be, I'm gonna have to sign up to Zoom. It might be 100 motherfuckers in there. I'm gonna reach out to you, New Diamond. I'm gonna reach out to everybody who's contributing, influencers on the internet, tapped in. You know, we don't all have to agree with each other, but I just, I just want to reach out to people who come from a certain heart space. We all don't have to agree with each other. We all don't have to believe the earth is round or flat, or all this, or be vegan, or a nigga I want a nigga that eat pork chops and somebody who's vegan on the phone on the Zoom at the same time. And us not be offended by what this person is doing with their personal life. As long as they're not coming here to undermine or with negative intentions, and I'm going to use my discretion, my discernment when it comes to that. But I'm going to be reaching out to, is like I said, it might be 100 motherfuckers on the phone, on the line. It's going to be, it's going to be something that the spiritual community has never seen before. They're going to be like, God damn, how many people are here? They'll be like, man, Zoom, you got all them pictures. Gonna be like, boop, 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 boop. Be like 50 motherfuckers. Be like, what the fuck? But it's time, you know what I'm saying? And we was born into this era to do big things. I can't wear this hat because it's fashionable. I got to really believe this is my spiritual identity, spiritual being. And then I got the I am a supreme being. I'm sorry. I am a supreme being. So we have to be, our clothes got to represent our frequency also moving forward in this new paradigm. So yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Somebody said that's the soul group I was told about you. Wow, I have no idea what you're talking about, but yeah. It would be cool to have a line dance linked with the chant. Yeah, I mean, that would be cool, but we got to start somewhere, and the chant first, and we could work on something from there. But we definitely need a collective chant. Like I said, this isn't nothing new. We've always had chants. Every empire, every society have always had chants. When they were, Billy just said, they went around saying manifest destiny. They kept saying manifest destiny. They felt as though it was their destiny to conquer everybody. Maybe it was. Maybe because it was the age of Pisces, and maybe because humanity was falling at that time, and they said they gave Yakub and his people 6,000 years to rule the earth. Maybe they was right to a certain extent. I don't know. They did what they set out to do. They conquered. They did what they set out to do. My daughter. Oh, my daughter's hilarious. I love my daughter so much. She be calling me all the time when I'm working. I should she outside. But I'm gonna be back Friday. I'll be back Friday, y'all. I'll be back Friday. Have a good show Friday. But yeah, that I just got hyped. But thinking about that, that's something that, and I've been saying the last week or so about just been thinking a lot. Keep hope alive, Jesse Jackson. Keep hope alive. Yeah, he had a chant. Keep hope alive. We always got chants. We always got chants. Yeah, Jesse, keep hope alive. What was Barack's chant? Barack had what was his campaign slogan? He had a can. What was I know I no what was it that? What was Barack Obama? What was his campaign slogan? Yeah, Jesse, I am somebody. David said that's a heck of a chant for your daughter. Yes, we can. Yeah. Barack was Oh, I see somebody just hit me up for the. Let me post a link for the cigars, by the way, because somebody had asked earlier before I forget. And like I said, my downloads, my channels, I've never experienced anything like the cigars. I just posted the link for the cigars. If you are interested in tapping in with that quantum field and communicating a clear and precise message and getting a clear and precise answer, the cigars, 100% raw tobacco from Honduras, is donation based. You donate to the channel, and I'm gifting people something that I've been gifted with. So the link is in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, but Barack was yes we can. Yeah, Barack was yes we can. Yeah, Barack was yes we can. Barack was yes we can. Gotta said I need to invest in. I'm glad you call it invest, because we truly spend is another word we got to get out our vocabulary. We truly invest in things or circulate our wealth. We when we realize, I'm gonna tell you when the game is over, when we realize that we are the currency, and I know we understand that intellectually, but when we embody that, when we embody in our identity becomes a currency, the game is going to change drastically. Somebody said you have smaller scars. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Rich sent me 2 scars. Yeah, I hooked the family up. Usually, if you just send 30, because shipping is like 10 by itself. But if you send 35 or more, I usually hook people up depending on how much you send. But I hook the family up. I hook the family up. But like I said, shipping is 10, packaging, plastic, all of the envelopes, all of this. That's another 10. By the time you pay for the label, let me show you where my label's at. Let me show you where my label's at. Hold up. Give me a second, family. Give me a second. See, these are like y'all seen in the let me put it in the commercial. These are the radio cigars. By the time you get labels, you get packaging, you get you get the wraps, you get envelopes, certain envelopes that are more protective for the cigar. By the time you get all that, you know 10 for shipping, 10, that's $20 already. So that's why I said minimum. You got to travel to Honduras just to get it. You got to get plane tickets. All that is like so. That's why I say what I say. Yeah, it's a lot that goes into shipping the pack. Yeah. So that's why I say what I say. What if you don't use Cash App or all these money apps? I'm not using Cash App. I'm using PayPal, but I don't have it's a lot of legislation to get an app to have people send you money. So this is why we using payment processors as Cash App or PayPal or Zelle. There's a lot of FCC guidelines that go into getting your own payment processor app. There's a lot of regulation behind that. So yeah. Yes. Barack also said, "Be the change you want to." Barack had all types of slogans. That's why people was effing with him. He had He had all types of stuff. Even Trump. What's Trump? Make America Great Again. This is what I'm saying. These chants invigorate the people. When you come up with like the Make America Great Again, that like these slogans, these chants, these mantras, they are extremely powerful. They're usually 3 or 4 words. Usually no more than 4 words. A lot of times, let me see, Make America Great Again, that's 4. Yes, we can, that's 3. I can't breathe, that's 3. I am somebody, Jesse Jack, that's 3. They're usually always 3 or 4 words. But when you understand the science of collapsing wave and a particle, and if you look at videos from Greg Braden, you understand the science of your emotions in the quantum field. The quantum field listens to your emotions. Oh, listen, Mama Carly just texted me. Hold up. She said Jesse couldn't survive through the truth that his misdirection he led us into with our identity. I agree. You know, Mama Carly, you know, that is interesting. In my mind, I said, I think the guilt must have got to him too much. You know, guilt will kill you. That's why I don't do shit that you can't look yourself in the mirror with. Because the guilt will either kill you or to punish you while you're here. And you'd be like, why this happened to that brother? Why that happened? Or why this happened? You're living with a certain amount of guilt. And that guilt, you feel as though it's just a heavy, heavy feeling. And I know Jesse know what's going on with the whole African American movement right now, and us rejecting that term and the grassroots and everything he see going on politically speaking. I'm sure, your heart. Your heart. You gotta listen, man. Your heart, man. You could your heart. You don't have oh man, this shit get deep. I ain't gonna. Y'all be dropping it though. Y'all be dropping. Shout out to New Diamonds. Yeah. Y'all be dropping it. Yeah. Your heart will definitely. You won't have a heart attack. Your heart will attack you. You won't have a heart attack. Your heart will attack you. There's a clear and distinct difference. And there's a reason why you may be working a job that you despise, but you're doing it for money. It could be a lot of things, man. But man, oh man. Shout out to Mama Kali watching. I had her on the show last week, and she did an absolute magnificent job. Somebody said, but Jesse never stopped. He was in Venezuela. Yeah, that's why the guilt is still with him. He know what he doing. If he stopped it, maybe he wouldn't have felt that bad. But he know he been you know how you have a dream. When you have a dream and you wake up from a dream, you're not mad at the person in your dream say somebody did something to you in your dream. You're not mad at the person in your dream. I understand this is a dream, and I'm woke. Remember, I just talked about them weaponizing our words that our beloved sister Erykah Badu came up with. I'm woke, not their version. I'm woke, the grassroots versions that we came up with. So I understand that this is a dream, and I'm awake. So I'm not even mad at Jesse for what he did. He's weak. Weak people do weak things. My uncle always told me that. And my uncle made a lot of money, especially illegally selling drugs, and people would do things to him and take advantage of him and shit like that. And he would just tell me, he never got offended. He would just tell me that they're weak. Certain people are weak. And I always took that with me, and I never take one of the 4 agreements is don't take anything personal. I don't take anything personal because I understand certain people are just weak, and it's all right. We're all weak to a certain extent, some more than others, but people do shit that you wouldn't do, and they may do it to you. And let's just not take it personal. And that's how we don't leak our energy. One thing we don't want in this new realm is energy leakage. So I would just say, like Jesse Jackson, I wish the brother no bad. May his soul rest in peace. You know, he was a piece of shit in terms of a lot of things he did in this realm for black people to a certain extent. But I wish the brother no bad. And we all have done piece of shit things in our lives before. We all have done things that we regret. And none of us have lived a perfect life down here. So let's just keep that in mind. And being that we are victorious and that we are on the winning side, you know, it is what it is, you know. Let's not take anything personal. Let's not take anything personal. Yeah, a lot of y'all donated to the old PayPal. A lot of y'all be like, Brother Rich, and you gotta. I'm sharing this link, but a lot of y'all still got the old PayPal and y'all donate to that. I'll get to y'all. It's still being sent out. It's still being sent out. But a lot of y'all, sometimes it may take a little longer because y'all donated it. Y'all donated to the old PayPal. But shout out to everybody who has the old PayPal. With that being said, I'm gonna get out of here, family. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. What y'all talking about? Salute, Brother Rich. Is there set for donate? Yeah, $30. Yeah, I mean, you could donate whatever you want. You could donate $2 if you want, but to be gifted a cigar, because it's a gift that I'm giving you as a result of your donation. It's $30 if you would want to be gifted. Sent a cigar for your donation gift. Is but you could donate whatever you want. But if you want to be gifted a cigar, it's $30 or more. So yeah. Somebody said much love from Portland, Oregon. Shout out to Portland, Oregon. Yeah, shout out to Portland, Oregon. Shout out to Tabitha. I just donated. Appreciate it, Tabitha. Really appreciate it. Somebody said they stole from us is not an empowering chant. Your song maybe, but that string of words. No, that's definitely not. I don't know who said that, but yeah, that's definitely not. Our chant wouldn't have. It's like I can't breathe. It's it wouldn't be nothing negative. It wouldn't be nothing negative. I guess with that, I'm just looking at the chat real quick before I get out of here. Yeah, he played his role. Slim in your bed. Yeah, he played his role. This is a movie. This is this is the greatest movie ever created, and he played his role. He played his role, and they said when King died, he went and took blood and I heard so much shit about Jesse, man. Remember when Obama got elected? They said they had the recording, and Jesse was like, I want to cut his nuts off. Yo, who remember that? Who remember when Jesse was so mad that Obama got elected? And Jesse got caught on tape talking about, I want to cut his nuts off. Who remember that? Y'all remember that? Who heard that? Yeah, he was Somebody said if you send 30 times 3 with that, that would get you much more. Yeah, that would get you more than 3 cigars. Yeah, 30 is just the minimum. But like if you send 90, I'm gonna hook you up. You're gonna get more than 3 cigars. Yeah, I'm gonna gift you. Yeah, if you send 90, I'm gonna hook you up. That's just like the minimum because I'm covering cost and whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna hook you up if you send 90. Way more than 3 cigars. And ask anybody who I sent it out. They'll tell you. They'll tell you. Oh man, yeah. That the hot mic. Yeah, he had the hot mic on it. He had the hot mic on him. Yeah. He had the hot mic on him. Yep. Yeah, he was jealous. So he was tight. Remember, he ran for president, and here come Obama out of nowhere. And he becomes you got to understand a lot of black conscious people or black people who they want to be the head nigga in charge, the HNIC. And they only want to help black people if they are the HNIC. And if they're not, they're not that interested in helping black people. It's an ego thing for a lot of people. It's an ego thing. They'll help you out to a certain extent if you let them be the HNIC, which is an acronym for head nigga in charge. But if they can't be, then they'll burn the village. They will burn the village, y'all. So, yeah. Oh, he ran 2 times? Okay, yeah, Jesse ran 2 times for president. Okay. Yeah. So I said, join late. What happened to the guests, please? Yeah, the guests done left. I usually talk and connect with the people during the end of the show for about 5 or so minutes, just giving like channel updates and stuff like that. But the guests left. You could rewind the show and watch it from the beginning. They did an absolute magnificent job for an hour. They got an event coming up. Yeah, they got an event coming up. So they were promoting that. Dr. B has a book. He was promoting that. So, yeah, you could rewind, and they did an absolute magnificent job. So, yeah. All right. With that being said, family, I will see y'all. I'm gonna be back on Friday, all right, family? I will be back Friday. I want to shout out to everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank all of y'all for tuning in. Great show as usual. And let's just keep this thing. Somebody said, can you pin the PayPal for the cigars? Well, I'm about to get out of here now, so it don't even make sense to pin it, but I will share it one last time before I get out of here for the family. And I'll do it. I always forget to pin the links and stuff like that, because I can't do it on my computer. Like, I'm on the computer right now. I got to do it on my phone for whatever reason. So I usually forget to do it. Somebody said, do you think Trump was sent? Definitely. Yeah, I think Trump is fulfilling his divine mission. Yeah, I believe Trump is fulfilling his divine mission, and he's here to tear this shit down. That don't make him a good person. I'm not saying he's probably he probably was in Epstein Island, but he's so incompetent that he's gonna just tear this shit apart. He's so incompetent that he's not here to preserve this shit. He's here to wreak havoc on this, So, oh man, yeah, I'm glad Trump. Somebody said, I'm glad Trump is in office. I'm glad he got elected, because change needs to happen. Change ain't gonna happen if Kamala or we just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Hollywood would have never got exposed. Systems, if we want change, things come with change. A lot of things come with change. Why people keep asking? Somebody said, what's your PayPal? I'm posting it. I don't be understand. I'll be posting it. Or is he playing? No, he's incompetent. No, Trump is Trump. Trump is Trump. Trump is ignorant. And we're so psychologically conditioned when we hear the word ignorant, we don't think white people. Trump is ignorant as fuck. We think, oh, white people, that ignorant and white people don't go together. Ignorant and rich people don't go together. Trump is ignorant as a motherfucker, man. He's ignorant like a motherfucker, man. I'm not brainwashed where I won't call a white person ignorant, or because you're rich, you can't. Nah, Trump is ignorant like a motherfucker, man. I mean, he's ignorant. You know how creative we are. We come up with words. He's ignorant. Trump is ignorant. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying that. But with that being said, let me see. Yeah. Family, I'm gonna see you on Friday. Let me get out of here. Appreciate y'all. Peace and blessings. We signing out with the radio cigar commercial. I included the link. If you donate 30 or more, you will get gifted a cigar. Tuning in. Magnificent times we are living in. Tap in, family. Tap in with your spiritual identity, with your divine self, with your higher self, with your ancestors. Tap in, family. They want to talk to you. They are here for us. and they are readily available, family. I will see you on Friday, all right? Peace and blessings. Thank you for tuning in so much, family.
Radio cigar.
Before there were cigarettes, before there were brands, there was the leaf. Tobacco is one of the oldest forms of spirit communication known to humanity. Long before modern times, it was understood as a living messenger, a way for human intention to travel beyond the visible world and return with meaning. In the oldest traditions, tobacco was never a habit. It was a bridge, not something used to escape life, but something used to speak with it. Our ancestors knew breath as spirit itself, and smoke was breath-given form. When the leaf touched fire, it awakened. When guided by breath, it carried thought into the unseen. In that moment, intention became vapor, and prayer learned how to rise. It was never about getting high. It was about clarity, connection, making the invisible visible. That's the memory the leaf still carries. Radio cigars.
Radio cigar. Radio cigar. Cigar.